He woke up to the sound of his daughter crying. Not the scared crying from the boat. Not the desperate crying from the ship. This was different. Softer. Relieved. Appa? Nana's voice trembled. Appa, can you hear me? Sang-woo tried to open his eyes. Failed. Tried again. The light was blinding. Everything was blinding. Pain radiated through his body like fire, concentrated in his back, his shoulder, his side. But he was alive. He's waking up. Jae-won's voice, somewhere nearby. Get the doctor. Now. Footsteps. Rushing. Beeping machines. The smell of antiseptic and desperation. Sang-woo forced his eyes open fully. White ceiling. Hospital room. His brother's worried face hovering above him. And beside the bed, clutching his hand like she'd never let go, Nana. Her curly black hair was tangled. Her wide eyes were red from crying. But she was alive. She was safe. Princess. His voice came out as a ragged whisper. You're okay. You saved me, Appa. Tears streamed down her cheeks. You saved me and then you fell asleep and you wouldn't wake up and I was so scared. How long? He looked at Jae-won. How long was I out? His brother's expression was grim. 3 days. 3 days. Alma. Kofi. Sang-woo tried to sit up and immediately collapsed back, gasping in agony. His body refused to cooperate. 3 bullets. 3 holes in him. 3 days of his wife and son in enemy hands. Where are they? He grabbed Jae-won's arm with whatever strength he had left. Where did Tanaka take them? We're working on it. Tracking the helicopter's flight path. Cross-referencing obsidian facilities. We'll find them. 3 days. Sang-woo's voice cracked. They've had Alma and Kofi for 3 days. Do you know what Tanaka said he would do? The extraction? The testing? Jae-won looked away. He knew. I need to move. I need to. Sang-woo tried to rise again and nearly blacked out from the pain. Hyung-nim, you almost died. The surgeon spent 9 hours putting you back together. If you try to move now, you'll tear every stitch and bleed out before you make it to the door. Then what am I supposed to do? Lie here while his voice broke completely. While they hurt my wife? Drain my son? Nana climbed onto the bed, carefully avoiding his wounds, and pressed herself against his good side. Her small hand found his. Don't die, Appa. Please don't die. You promised. He looked at his daughter. His miracle. The child he'd saved at the cost of everything else. And he made another promise. I'm not dying, princess. And I'm going to bring Alma and Kofi home. He looked at Jae-won. Whatever it takes. Whatever it costs. I'm bringing them home. But first, he had to heal. Hey lovelies, welcome to the part 4 of this amazing series. If you are yet to watch the first 3 episodes, kindly check the channel and watch it. Trust me, you do not want to miss any minute. Click that subscribe button now to be a part of this lovely community and enjoy top-notch storytelling. Drop a comment so we can bond better. Now let's dive into the finale. The doctor said 6 weeks minimum before he could walk properly. Mr. Choi, if you push yourself too hard, you'll tear the sutures. You could bleed internally and die before we could save you. Sang-woo looked at the doctor with dead eyes. My wife and son are being tortured right now. Every hour I spend in this bed is an hour closer to their death. I understand, but... No. You don't understand. He grabbed the bed rail and pulled himself upright despite the screaming agony in his wounds. My daughter is sitting in that chair, waiting for me to bring her mother home. I'm not going to tell her I couldn't do it because I was too weak to get out of bed. Nana watched from the corner, her small face pale with worry but fierce with hope. Appa's going to save Alma, she said quietly. He always saves us. Day 2, Sang-woo walked 10 steps before collapsing. Day 3, he made it to the door. Day 4, he reached the end of the corridor. Each night, Jae-won came with updates that weren't good enough. Each night, Nana fell asleep holding his hand. Each night, Sang-woo stared at the ceiling and imagined what Tanaka might be doing to his wife and son. The images kept him awake. The rage kept him moving. On day 5, he ripped out his 4 and demanded his clothes. "You'll die," the doctor said. "Maybe. But at least I'll die trying to save them." Then Kwon's widow walked through the door. And everything changed. She stood in the doorway of his hospital room, thin and pale, dark circles under her eyes. Her children weren't with her, they were with relatives, trying to recover from their own trauma. "Mrs. Kwon." Sang-woo tried to bow from his position on the bed. "I'm sorry. For everything. Your husband. My husband died trying to protect your family." Her voice was hollow but steady. "Obsidian killed him because he wouldn't betray you again." "I know. And I'm not here for apologies." She stepped into the room, closing the door behind her. "I'm here because my husband kept secrets. Insurance, he called it. Information he gathered during his time feeding intel to Yoonji and the Jade Tigers." Sang-woo straightened despite the pain. "What kind of information?" "Obsidian facility locations. Security protocols. The real identity of Director Tanaka." She pulled a flash drive from her pocket. Kwon knew that one day, you might need to burn them to the ground. He collected everything he could before he cut ties with them. "Why didn't he tell me?" "Because he was ashamed. Of what he did. Of how he betrayed you." Her eyes glistened with tears. "But he loved you, Dragon. Like a brother. And he wanted to make it right." She placed the flash drive on the bedside table. "Make it right for him. Destroy the people who killed my husband. Who took your wife. Who hurt your daughter." Her voice hardened to steel. "Make them pay." Then she was gone. Sang-woo stared at the flash drive. Kwon's final gift. His path to vengeance. The intelligence was better than anything they'd gathered before. Facility locations across Asia. Security protocols for each site. Personnel files. Financial records. And most importantly, Tanaka's primary base of operations. An island. Private. Off the coast of Indonesia. A converted research facility that served as Obsidian's global headquarters. "This is where he would take them," Jae-won said, studying the satellite imagery. "Maximum security. Medical facilities for the extraction. Far enough from any government to operate with impunity." "How many men does he have?" "On the island? Maybe 100. Plus scientific staff, support personnel." Jae-won shook his head. "This isn't like the ship. We can't sneak in with 15 men. This would require an army. Then we get an army. How? We've lost half our forces. The Jade Tigers are destroyed. Who else is going to? Everyone Tanaka has ever wronged." Sang-woo pulled up the files on his tablet. "Look at this. Obsidian has been operating for decades. They've stolen from Yakuza families in Japan. Kidnapped children from triad leaders in Hong Kong. Murdered competitors across Southeast Asia. You want to unite crime families against Obsidian? I want to offer them what they all want. Revenge. And a piece of Obsidian's considerable assets once we burn them down." Jae-won was quiet for a long moment. "That would take days to arrange. Weeks, maybe. Alma and Kofi don't have weeks." "Then what's your plan?" Sang-woo looked at the satellite image of the island. The compound. The landing strip. The docks. "I go in first. Alone. That's suicide." "No. That's a distraction." He zoomed in on the facility layout. "Tanaka wants me. He's been hunting my family because of what Alma means to me, what our children represent. If I walk onto that island alone, He won't kill me immediately. He'll want to gloat. To break me. To make me watch. His voice caught. He couldn't finish the sentence. While you're keeping him occupied, I bring the Alliance forces in through the docks, Jaehwan said slowly, understanding forming. Hit them from behind while their attention is on you. You'd have maybe 30 minutes. 45 if I can stretch it. And what happens to you in those 30 minutes? Sang-woo didn't answer. He didn't need to. But there was one more piece of the plan. One more person who might tip the scales. On day 7, against doctor's orders, Sang-woo checked himself out of the hospital. His wounds were far from healed. Every movement sent spears of pain through his body. But he couldn't wait any longer. He left Nana with trusted guards, the few he had left, and drove to the prison. Yunji was waiting in the visiting room when he arrived. She took one look at his pale face, his careful movements, and shook her head. You should be in a hospital. I should be a lot of things. He sat across from her slowly, hiding the agony the movement caused. But right now, I need to be on an island in Indonesia, killing the man who took my wife and son. You found them? Kwon left me a gift. Everything I need to locate Tanaka's headquarters. He leaned forward. But I need more than location. I need inside knowledge. Someone who understands how Obsidian thinks. How Tanaka thinks. Yunji studied him. You want me to help you plan the assault? I want you to come with me. Silence. Long and heavy. I'm in prison, Sang-woo. In case you hadn't noticed. I've already made arrangements. Early release, conditional on your cooperation with an ongoing criminal investigation. He smiled grimly. Turns out the government is very interested in bringing down an international criminal organization that's been operating on their soil. And after? If we survive? Freedom. Real freedom. Your record cleared. A chance to start over. He held her gaze. The chance you said you wanted. To be more than your worst moment. Yunji looked down at her chained hands. Why me? After everything I did to you? To your family? Because you know Obsidian. Because you hate Tanaka as much as I do. Because, he paused, choosing his words carefully. Because I believe people can change. You helped me find the ship. You gave me information that saved my daughter's life. That means something. It doesn't erase what I did before. No. But it might balance the scales. He stood slowly, wincing. I'm leaving for Indonesia in 48 hours. With or without you. But I'd rather have you watching my back than wondering if I made a mistake trusting you. He walked toward the door. Sang-woo. He paused. I'll do it. But not for freedom. Not even for redemption. Her voice was quiet. For your daughter. For the child I helped put in danger. If I can save her mother and brother, maybe I can finally sleep at night. He nodded once. 48 hours. Be ready. The cargo ship rocked gently in international waters. Inside, 3 of Asia's most dangerous crime lords sat at the same table. They should have been killing each other. Instead, they were listening to a half-dead Korean man explain why they needed to work together. You want us to attack a fortified island. Yamamoto spoke first, a weathered Japanese man in his 60s, traditional tattoos visible beneath his suit. For what? Revenge? For your daughter. Yamamoto's expression flickered. Pain beneath the stone. She disappeared 3 years ago. Taken by Obsidian. You think she's still alive? I don't know. But I know she's not the only one. Sang-woo slid a folder across the table. 17 children from Yakuza families. 23 from Triad leadership. Dozens more from syndicates across Asia. All gone. All taken to the same place. Mrs. Chen picked up the folder. She was sharp-eyed, elegant, running Hong Kong's largest trafficking network. Her fingers stopped on a photograph. My nephew. He vanished 2 years ago. Obsidian's island. They're all there. Or they were. Sukarno leaned forward, massive, gold-toothed, permanently scowling. Why should we trust you, dragon? You're half dead and desperate. Maybe this is a trap. If I wanted you dead, I'd wait until you killed each other. That's what you do, isn't it? Sangwoo met each of their eyes. But Obsidian has been playing us all. Stealing our children. Murdering our people. Using our blood for their experiments. He stood slowly, painfully. Tomorrow, I'm walking through the front door of Tanaka's compound. Alone. I'm going to keep him distracted while you hit him from every direction. And when it's over, we divide the assets and go our separate ways. And if you fail? Then you lose nothing. I'm the one taking all the risk. Silence. Heavy and calculating. Then Yamamoto nodded. For my daughter. Mrs. Chen followed. For my nephew. Sukarno grinned, gold teeth gleaming. For profit. And a little bit of revenge. The alliance was formed. 3 crime families. 1 common enemy. And a half-dead mafia boss leading the charge. If you're still watching, you're part of this family now. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Part 4 is about to get intense. Tomorrow, they would go to war. That night, Sangwoo couldn't sleep. He stood on the deck of the cargo ship, staring at the dark ocean, thinking about Alma. Wondering if she was still alive. If Kofi was still alive. If he would reach them in time. 7 days. They'd been in Tanaka's hands for 7 days. You should rest. Yunji appeared beside him, dressed in tactical gear they'd acquired for her. Tomorrow will be. I know what tomorrow will be. He didn't look at her. I've been preparing for it my whole life. Have you? To die, you mean? To do whatever it takes. He finally turned to face her. Alma used to ask me the same thing. If I was prepared to give up everything for my family. I always said yes. But I don't think I really understood what that meant until now. And what does it mean? It means walking into that compound tomorrow knowing I probably won't walk out. It means letting Tanaka do whatever he wants to me while my brother brings the cavalry. His voice caught. It means my daughter might grow up without a father. But at least she'll have her mother. Yunji was quiet for a long moment. You really love them. I never understood it before. I thought your love for Alma was just, I don't know. Obsession. The way men like us possess things. Men like us? Broken people. People who take what they want because they don't know how to ask for it. She looked out at the ocean. But watching you now, I see something different. You'd actually die for them. Not just kill, die. Wouldn't you? For someone you loved? Yunji smiled sadly. I've never loved anyone that much. I thought I loved you, once. But it was just obsession. Jealousy. The need to have what someone else had. And now? Now I just want to feel something real. Even if it's only for a moment. She straightened. Get some sleep, Sangwoo. Tomorrow, I'll watch your back. I'll help you save your family. And if we both survive, maybe that can be the start of something better. She walked away. And Sangwoo stood alone with the ocean and his thoughts, waiting for dawn. The island appeared through the morning mist like something from a nightmare. A volcanic cone rising from the sea, covered in dense jungle, with a modern compound sprawling across its northern face. Landing strips. Helipads. Guard towers. A fortress designed to be impenetrable. Sangwoo's boat approached alone. The Alliance forces were positioned around the island, hidden, waiting for his signal. Jaehwan commanded the main assault team. Yamamoto's men would hit the eastern dock. Chen's forces the western. Sukarno's boats formed a blockade to prevent escape. All Sangwoo had to do was keep Tanaka busy long enough for them to breach. Approaching vessel. The radio crackled with a guard's voice. Identify yourself or be destroyed. Sang-woo picked up the transmitter. Tell your director that the Dragon of Gangnam is here. Alone. To negotiate for his family. Static. Then, hold position. He waited. 10 minutes. 20. Then the radio crackled again. Proceed to the main dock. Any weapons will be confiscated. Any resistance will result in immediate execution of the prisoners. Prisoners. Alive. They were still alive. Sang-woo let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. Understood. Approaching now. The dock was lined with armed guards. They pulled Sang-woo from his boat, stripped him of his weapons, patted him down thoroughly. He let them. Every minute they spent on him was a minute his forces were getting into position. They found the wire. The earpiece. Ripped them out and crushed them underfoot. The dragon comes crawling, the guard captain sneered. Not so fearsome now, are you? Sang-woo said nothing. They marched him up the dock, through security checkpoints, into the compound itself. Clean white corridors. Laboratories visible through glass walls. The same sterile horror he'd seen on the ship, but larger. More permanent. This was where Obsidian had been operating for decades. How many people had suffered here? How many had died? They brought him to an elevator. Down. Deep beneath the island's surface. When the doors opened, Director Tanaka was waiting. He looked exactly as Sang-woo remembered, silver-gray hair slicked back, cold calculating eyes, expensive suit despite the clinical surroundings. But there was something different in his expression now. Triumph. Absolute certainty that he had won. Mr. Choi. Tanaka smiled. Welcome to my home. I must admit, I didn't expect you to simply walk in. Where's my wife? Where's my son? Direct as always. I appreciate that about you. Tanaka gestured for the guards to bring him forward. They're alive. For now. Your wife has proven remarkably resilient. She survived treatments that would have killed lesser subjects. And your son. His eyes glittered. Your son is extraordinary. The concentration of genetic markers in his blood is unlike anything we've ever seen. If you've hurt them. You'll what? Kill me? Tanaka laughed. Look at you. Barely standing. Pale as death. My doctors told me about your injuries. You should have died on that ship. The fact that you're here at all is either incredible determination or incredible stupidity. Take me to them. In time. First, I want you to understand something. Tanaka began walking, gesturing for the guards to bring Sang-woo along. Do you know why I've spent my life hunting bloodlines like your wife's? Why Obsidian has existed for centuries? I don't care. You should. Because this is bigger than you, Mr. Choi. Bigger than your family. Bigger than revenge. They passed through a laboratory where scientists worked at stations filled with blood samples and genetic data. Human beings are flawed. Weak. Broken. Disease, mental illness, aging, we're slaves to our genetics. But your wife's bloodline represents something else. The potential for true healing. Not treating symptoms, but rewriting the code itself. You're insane. I'm a visionary. Tanaka stopped at a window overlooking a larger lab below. Look. Sang-woo looked. And his heart shattered. Alma was strapped to a table, unconscious, IVs running from her arms. She was pale. Too pale. Thin in a way that spoke of days without proper food or care. And beside her, in a smaller apparatus, was Kofi. His infant son. 18 months old. Tiny and helpless and connected to machines that were slowly draining his blood. You see, your wife's genetic markers are remarkable. But your son, Tanaka smiled. Your son is a miracle. The healing factors in his blood are the purest we've ever encountered. One child. One child could provide enough material to develop treatments for every disease known to mankind. He's a baby. Sang-woo's voice was barely human. He's a baby and you're killing him. I'm advancing science. Tanaka turned away from the window. But I'm not unreasonable. I brought you here because I want to offer you a choice. What choice? Leave now. Walk away. Take your older daughter and disappear. Build a new life somewhere far from here. Tanaka's eyes were cold. In exchange, I keep your wife and son. Their sacrifice will save millions of lives. A worthy trade, don't you think? Sangwoo stared at him. Then he laughed. Not a sane laugh. Not a controlled laugh. The laugh of a man who has finally confronted the limits of human evil and found them wanting. You think I'd leave them? You think there's any version of reality where I walk away while you murder my wife and son? I think you're a survivor. A pragmatist. Your daughter needs a father. My daughter needs her mother. Sangwoo's voice dropped to something cold and dark. And her brother. And a father who keeps his promises. He glanced at the clock on the wall. 25 minutes since he'd docked. 5 more minutes. Here's what's going to happen, Tanaka. In 5 minutes, 3 crime families are going to hit this compound simultaneously. They're going to destroy everything you've built. Free everyone you've imprisoned. And then. He stepped closer, despite the guards' weapons trained on him. Then I'm going to kill you. Slowly. For every moment of pain you've caused my family. For every child you've tortured. For every life you've ruined. Tanaka's smile finally faded. You're bluffing. Am I? An explosion rocked the compound. Then another. Alarms began blaring. Red lights flashed throughout the corridor. Tanaka's eyes went wide. Sir. A guard pressed his earpiece. We're under attack. Multiple breach points. Eastern dock, western dock, the main gate. How many? Hundreds. Maybe more. We're being overrun. Tanaka turned to Sangwoo with something like respect mixing with his fury. You united them. The families we've wronged over the years. You actually brought them together. I told you. Sangwoo smiled, cold and lethal and absolutely unafraid. There's nothing I wouldn't sacrifice for my family. Kill him. The guards raised their weapons. Sangwoo moved. He shouldn't have been able to fight. 3 bullet wounds barely healed. 7 days out of the hospital. A body that screamed in agony with every motion. But the dragon of Gangnam hadn't built his empire through luck. He'd built it through violence. Through being faster, stronger, more brutal than anyone who stood against him. The first guard's gun was in his hand before the man knew he'd lost it. 2 shots. 2 bodies dropped. Tanaka ran. Sangwoo pursued. Through corridors filled with chaos. Past laboratories where scientists fled in panic. Over the bodies of guards who tried to stop him and failed. More guards ahead. He didn't slow down. Grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall and hurled it at the cluster. Followed it with gunfire. Pushed through. He was bleeding. His stitches had torn. Every step was agony. He didn't stop. Tanaka ducked into a stairwell. Sangwoo followed. Up. 1 floor. 2. 3. They emerged onto a rooftop helipad. A helicopter was warming up, rotors spinning. Tanaka sprinted toward it. Sangwoo shot the pilot through the windshield. The helicopter's engine whined and died. The rotors slowed. Tanaka froze. Turned. Faced the man he'd been hunting for so long. It's over, Tanaka. Is it? Tanaka reached into his jacket and produced a small device. This is a dead man's switch. If I release it, explosives throughout the lower levels detonate. Your wife, your son, and hundreds of prisoners, all dead. Sangwoo stopped. You're lying. Am I? I built this facility, Mr. Choi. Every room, every corridor. Did you think I wouldn't prepare for the possibility of exactly this scenario? The sounds of battle echoed from below. Gunfire. Explosions. Screaming. Your forces are winning. I'll grant you that. But even if they take the entire compound, I can still take everything from you with a single button. Sang-woo's gun never wavered. But his hand trembled. His wife. His son. What do you want? I want to walk out of here. Get on a boat. Disappear. Tanaka's smile returned. You can have your family. You can have this island. But I go free. No. No. Tanaka laughed. You'd let your wife and son die for revenge? I'd let you think that. Sang-woo's voice was calm. Too calm. But here's the thing, Tanaka. While you were gloating, while you were explaining your grand plan, my people weren't just attacking the surface. They were also evacuating the prisoners. Tanaka's smile froze. That's impossible. My men are dead or dying. And right now, Jae-hwan is carrying my wife and son to a boat. Sang-woo stepped forward. Your dead man's switch is useless. There's no one left to kill. You're lying. Am I? Tanaka looked at the device in his hand. Then at Sang-woo. Then at the stairwell door, where smoke was beginning to rise. He pressed the button. Nothing happened. I had Yunji disable your explosives hours ago. While you were focused on me, she was already inside the compound. Sang-woo smiled, and there was nothing human left in it. She knows obsidian systems. Your security protocols. Your fail-safes. Because she worked with your people for 2 years. Yunji? The girl from the Jade Tigers? Tanaka shook his head. She's in prison. She was in prison. Past tense. Sang-woo raised his gun. Any last words? Tanaka dropped the useless device. You think you've won? You think destroying me ends this? He laughed, high and desperate and broken. Obsidian has existed for centuries. Kill me, and someone else will take my place. The research will continue. The hunt for bloodlines will continue. Your family will never be safe. Maybe not. Sang-woo lowered the gun slightly. But you won't be there to see it. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. 4 parts. 1 journey. And it all comes down to this. Before we continue, tell me in the comments, does Tanaka deserve what's coming? Let's finish this. He shot Tanaka in the knee. The director screamed and collapsed, clutching his shattered leg. Sang-woo walked toward him slowly. Each step deliberate. Each step a promise. That was for my daughter. For the terror you put her through. He shot the other knee. Tanaka screamed again, trying to crawl away, leaving a trail of blood across the helipad. That was for my wife. For the days she spent strapped to your table. He shot Tanaka's right hand. That was for my son. For every drop of blood your machines stole from him. He shot the left hand. Tanaka could no longer crawl. Could no longer move. He lay on the helipad, broken and bleeding, staring up at the man who had destroyed everything he'd built. Please. His voice was a whimper now. Please. I can give you money. Information. Power. Whatever you want. I want my family back. Sang-woo stood over him. I have them. There's nothing else you can offer me. He placed his foot on Tanaka's chest. Pressed down. Any last words? Tanaka's eyes were wide with terror. Real terror. The terror of a man who had spent his life causing pain and was finally understanding what it meant to receive it. You're a monster, he gasped. Just like me. We're the same. No. Sang-woo shook his head. You hurt people because you wanted something from them. Because you saw them as resources. Tools. Means to an end. He pressed the gun to Tanaka's forehead. I hurt people because they threaten what I love. There's a difference. He pulled the trigger. The silence that followed was deafening. Sang-woo stood over Tanaka's body, gun still raised, chest heaving. Blood dripped from his reopened wounds. His legs trembled with exhaustion. But it was over. Tanaka was dead. Obsidian was burning. And somewhere below, his family was waiting. He found them at the dock. Jae-hwan had gotten them out, just as planned. Alma was on a stretcher, conscious now, reaching for him with trembling hands. Medical teams were already working on her, replacing fluids, stabilizing her vitals. And Kofi. Sang-woo fell to his knees beside the small bundle in Yoonji's arms. His son. His baby boy. Pale and weak but breathing. Alive. He's stable, Yoonji said quietly. They hadn't finished the extraction. Another day, maybe two, and she didn't finish. She didn't need to. Sang-woo took his son from her arms. Held him against his chest. Felt the tiny heartbeat against his own. Sang-woo. Alma's voice, weak but real. He moved to her side, Kofi still in his arms. Took her hand with his free one. I'm here. You're safe. Both of you. I knew you'd come. Tears streamed down her face. I told them. Every day, I told them my husband would come. Always. Until my last breath. The sound of running footsteps. Appa. He turned. Nana was sprinting down the dock, breaking away from the guards who'd brought her on Jae-hwan's orders. She crashed into him, wrapping her arms around his neck, sobbing. You did it. You saved them. You saved everyone. Not everyone. He looked at the burning compound. At the bodies being carried out. At the survivors being loaded onto boats. But enough. I saved enough. 3 days later, Alma opened her eyes in a Jakarta hospital. Sang-woo was there. He'd barely left her side. Barely slept. Barely eaten. His own wounds were infected, his body running on nothing but will. None of it mattered. Sang-woo? Her voice was a rasp. Barely audible. I'm here. He took her hand. You're safe. Kofi's safe. Tanaka's dead. It's over. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I thought you were dead. On the ship. When they took me, I saw you fall. It takes more than a few bullets to kill the dragon. My romantic Mafia boss. She tried to laugh. Failed. Cried instead. The children? Nana's in the next room. She hasn't stopped asking about you. He paused. Kofi's being monitored. The doctors say he'll recover fully. They're amazed at how fast he's healing. The bloodline. Yes. The door opened. Nana rushed in, followed by a nurse carrying Kofi. Alma. Alma sobbed as her daughter climbed onto the bed, as her infant son was placed in her arms. For bodies tangled together on a hospital bed, crying and laughing and holding each other like they'd never let go. Sang-woo watched his family, whole, alive, together, and felt something crack open inside him. Not pain. Relief. They'd survived. All of them. Gonna welcome them like returning warriors. Alma's mother wept when she saw them. Her father held Sang-woo in an embrace that said more than words ever could. The entire village celebrated for 3 days, drums and dancing and food that reminded Alma of everything she'd almost lost. You're really staying? Her mother asked one evening, watching Nana play with her cousins in the fading light. For now. Maybe forever. Alma leaned against her mother's shoulder. Seoul doesn't feel like home anymore. Too many memories. Too much pain. And your husband? The dragon can live in a village? Alma looked across the compound where Sang-woo was attempting to learn traditional dance from her father. He was terrible at it, stiff and awkward, completely off rhythm. But he was laughing. Actually laughing. She couldn't remember the last time she'd seen him laugh like that. He's not the dragon anymore, Mama. He's just a man who loves his family. That's all he ever was. Her mother smiled. That's all any good man is. Yunji visited once. She came to Gunna 3 months after the rescue, bearing gifts for the children and apologies that Alma accepted with grace. I never properly thanked you, Alma said as they sat on the porch, watching Sangwoo play with the children in the yard. For helping him find us. For disabling those explosives. It was the least I could do. After everything Yunji shook her head. I can't undo what I did. The pain I caused. But maybe I can build something better. What will you do now? There's an organization. They help people who were trafficked, experimented on, used like we used others. Yunji smiled sadly. I'm going to work with them. Try to save some of the people I couldn't save before. Redemption. Something like that. Yunji looked at Sangwoo, now carrying both children on his shoulders, their laughter echoing across the compound. Take care of him. He's a good man beneath all the violence. I know. I always knew. Yunji left that afternoon. And somehow, impossibly, Sangwoo felt no hatred when he watched her go. Only peace. People could change. Even the most broken among them. Now, before we reach the ending, I want to hear from you. This story has been a journey, 4 parts, countless emotions, one love story that defied everything. Drop a comment right now telling me what moment hit you the hardest across all 4 parts. I read every single comment. You're not just viewers, you're family. 5 years later. The house was modest by Sangwoo's old standards. Beautiful by any other measure. Korean and Ghanaian architecture blended together. Solar panels on the roof. A garden where Alma grew medicinal herbs. A training area where Sangwoo taught the children self-defense. Nana was 10 now, brilliant and fierce, with her mother's gift emerging stronger each year. She could sense pain in others, ease it with her touch. Kofi was 6, intense and quiet, with a gift even more powerful. He could heal wounds just by touching them. Doctors who examined him were baffled. He's special, they said. Perhaps the most special person we've ever encountered. One evening, Kofi tugged at Sangwoo's hand at bedtime. Tell me again, Appa. About the dragon who saved the princess. Sangwoo glanced at the doorway where Alma stood, listening. Once upon a time, there was a dragon who everyone thought was a monster. But he was really just sick. And one day, a princess arrived from a faraway land who could heal things that couldn't be healed. Did she fix him? She did more than fix him. She loved him. Even when he was scary. Even when he was broken. And they lived happily ever after? Sangwoo kissed his son's forehead. They had to fight for it. But yes. Happily ever after. Later that night, Alma found him on the porch, watching stars. I never thought I'd have this, he said quietly. Have what? Peace. Real peace. Not the calm before the next storm. Just, quiet. She slipped her hand into his. You earned it. We both did. He turned to face her. Even after 10 years, she still took his breath away. Her goddess lock streaked with a few strands of gray. Her eyes still warm, still fierce, still seeing through every wall he'd ever built. I love you, Alma. More than I ever thought I could love anything. I love you too. She kissed him softly. My healed Mafia boss. Just a man now. A husband. A father. Same thing. They stood together as the stars wheeled overhead, 2 people who had fought through hell and emerged holding hands. That night, after the house was quiet and the children were dreaming, they lay together in their bedroom. The sounds of Africa surrounded them. Insects singing. Distant drums from a neighboring village. Whined through ancient trees. Do you ever regret it? Alma asked, her head on his chest, fingers tracing the dragon tattoos she'd memorized years ago. Any of it? Not for a second. He pulled her closer. Every broken moment led me to you. Every curse. Every enemy. Every scar. It all led here. To a village in Ghana. To you. The location doesn't matter. You're my home. You've always been my home. She propped herself up, looking down at him in the moonlight. When I walked into your hospital room all those years ago, I had no idea what I was getting into. A mafia boss with a curse. A man who couldn't feel satisfied no matter how many women he had. And now? Now you're satisfied with just me. She smiled. That's quite the transformation. You're not just one woman. You're everything. You always were. He pulled her down for a kiss. Soft at first. Then deeper. Then with the passion of two people who had survived the impossible and still wanted each other just as desperately as the first night. They made love slowly, reverently. Every touch a prayer. Every whisper a promise. And when they finally lay still, tangled together, heartbeats slowly returning to normal, Sang-woo felt something he'd spent his whole life searching for. Peace. Real, lasting, unshakable peace. Thank you, he whispered. For what? For walking into my hospital room. For seeing past the monster. For giving me a family. His voice caught. For giving me a life worth living. Amma smiled in the darkness. Thank you for fighting for us. Every time. No matter the cost. Always. Until my last breath. And beyond? He kissed her forehead. And beyond. The dragon of Gangnam was gone. In his place was something better. A husband. A father. A man at peace. And that was everything. The end. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for following Sang-woo and Amma's journey from that first hospital room to this peaceful African night. 4 parts. Tens of thousands of words. Countless hours of tears and laughter and edge of your seat by drama. And I couldn't have finished it without you. This story was a labor of love. Every twist. Every emotional beat. Every moment was crafted for you, the ones who stuck with this series from the very beginning. So now I need to hear from you one last time. Drop a comment right now and tell me. What was your favorite moment from the entire series? What scene made you cry the hardest? What moment had you screaming at your screen? Are you satisfied with how it ended? I read every comment. I see every like. And it means the world. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Because more stories are coming. Different characters. Different worlds. Same heart. Like this video if Sang-woo and Amma's love story touched your soul. Share it with someone who needs to experience this journey. And thank you. Truly. For being part of this community. This isn't goodbye. It's just the beginning. Until the next story.